What's up, everybody? This is Brody, Charlie, and Tudong Dylan from the Talk Punch YouTube channel and podcast, where we talk movies, do lists, rankings, and more, and you are about to listen to the Keeping Up with the Cardassians podcast. Enjoy!
Hey.
It's been a while since we did a cold open.
I know.
With no bump.
I know. I decided to do it without the bump today. We got to get him back. Al back. He was originally thinking about coming back for this episode. It just didn't work out.
Maybe to kick off season 4,
Maybe
he can watch Best of Both Worlds 1 and 2.
And then come back and talk with us about both of them. That would be fine with me. Because,
After the holidays. Holidays are tough to schedule people around.
They are. So anyways, welcome to Keeping Up with the Cardassians. This is Nick.
This is Rob.
This is Joe.
And we are here to talk about all the things. That's all the things, including Reba, Last Man Standing.
I came to the right show.
Star Trek, Mountain Dew, and the Detroit Lions.
There we go.
It's like all my favorite things.
But no, we're also...
Minus Star Trek.
We are here to talk about all the pop culture news that you hear about. But we are also working our way through Star Trek: The Next Generation. As you know, we started off as just a Star Trek podcast, and we've kind of evolved over the years. Wow, I can say over the years.
Yeah.
Years.
Plural.
So now we're covering pop culture and Star Trek and other shows that we really like. So right now we're working our way through The Next Generation. We are wrapping up season 3 today with the highly forgettable Transfigurations and the Best of Both Worlds Part 1. Did I just spill the load there? Maybe a little bit.
I'll tell you what, as soon as I finished it, I wished I had forgotten it.
Ah, gosh. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Transfigurations, which is a shame because it's a doctor heavy episode, and we should like it because she's a great actress, but you know, there's reasons to not like it. We'll get to that. So we're going to talk about that in the second half of the episode. First half, as you know, is our chance to catch up on anything we want to talk about and things that we're thinking about. And I have something that I wanted to share with Joe that I just read just now.
Oh boy.
Idris Elba was just cast in a pretty major...
Oh, I read this last night before I went to bed.
Oh.
Yeah. Man at Arms?
Yeah, Man at Arms and the Masters of the Universe movie.
I'll believe it when I see more than just like casting or some production news. I want to see it actually in production.
Did you see the synopsis of it? It says the film will follow 10-year-old Prince Adam, who crashed to Earth in a spaceship and was separated from his magical power sword, the only link to his home on Eternia. After tracking it down almost 2 decades later, Prince Adam is whisked back across space to defend his home planet against the evil forces of Skeletor. But to defeat such a powerful villain, Prince Adam will need to uncover the mysteries of his past and become He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe.
That's fine.
So,
I'll believe it when it's a little more tangible. I mean, Idris Elba is a great casting for pretty much any movie anything you're working on, and that he fits like the role.
Yeah,
you're good. I wanted so hard for him to be the next Bond. I wished he was the next Bond.
You think he's a little old?
I think he's too old now.
Well, I mean Daniel Craig. Isn't he younger than Daniel Craig?
No, when Daniel Craig, let me see how old Daniel Craig was for, what was the
Why
first
don't we
one
do
called?
Why don't we do it like a
Casino
senior
Royale?
Bond?
Huh?
Casino Royale?
Senior
Citizen Bond?
Yeah.
Let's
There's
see.
got to be nefarious activity at the senior citizen
That's
home.
true. There's orgies there.
Daniel Craig was...
An Aston Martin wheelchair?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Daniel Craig was 38 when he played Casino Royale.
What's the exchange rate? He looked like he was 66.
I know, and Idris Elba is 52.
He looks like he's 29.
I know, Idris Elba looks good,
Yes,
man.
he does.
Did he see, he did a show, what was that, on Apple TV called Flight Plan or something like, I can't remember what it was called. It was really good, where like a flight gets abducted and he has to, he basically has to rescue everyone off the ship or the plane. Oh, so good. Now I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's going to kill me. It's going to kill me. Discography? What did he make music? He did. What?
Oh, did he try out for the lead singer of Linkin Park? He could do it though.
Could he? You think?
I think he could do anything.
Yeah, I think Idris Elba could do anything.
Hijack is what it's called. Hijack. It was on Apple TV with Idris Elba.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's good. It's good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Check it out. So yeah, he's 52 though. So
no racial stereotype is more accurate than black folks aging.
Black don't crack.
Better than white people.
It's
yeah.
very. It's actually true for most.
Just think of Daniel Craig. You said he was 38 when they cast him as James Bond. There's no way he looked 38.
I agree. He looked older.
Yeah,
He absolutely looked older.
Idris
looked like
Elba looks. If he, I mean, the facial hair gives it away a little with the gray, but other than that, there's no way he looks out of his 40s.
I don't know.
Hold on. He looked 80s, 38.
He looked right in that shot. He looks.
Rob,
in his.
I need you to put that up on the YouTube.
Yeah.
That does not look 38 to me. That's 45.
Can you send me a screenshot of that to send you some work?
Oh yeah, I can do that. do that.
That's 45. I'm in my 40s there.
Yeah, like I said, that's like 80s, 38.
You can dream.
Yeah.
You can dream.
Yeah, I'm in my 40s here, and I'm not in my 40s there.
I don't know. Looking at some of these shots, okay, like this is another shot of him. Yes, you're right. Okay, some of his shots he looks younger. Some of them he looks older. It really depends on the shot. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, yeah,
but I think the point is,
Like clearly he's physically fit. Like that, he probably like physically looks 38
for sure.
and feels 38, but like visually he just looks older than he is.
Yeah,
Where
it's like-
I feel Idris Elba looks younger than he is. I would have never guessed he was in his mid 50s or early 50s.
well, it's like all this.
Well, I probably would have, but
I would have guessed.
Look it.
I would have guessed low 50s just because he's been around for so long.
Yeah, he just doesn't look
I agree.
that old.
he's always him. But like,
Well, it's like longevity though for the character. It's like all these fan castings that are going out for Brave and the Bold for the new Batman movie when it comes out.
Yeah.
It's like Jensen Ackles or
Yeah.
Alan Richardson, and I'm like, they're kind of too old to play this character for too long because they don't
Not if
recast anymore.
not if they do the Brave and the Bold, because that would be theoretically not an old Batman, but a middle-aged Batman.
But
with the kid.
but they ideally want like 20 years out of the actor out of
You're
it.
probably wanting someone who's like 28, 29.
Yes, that's what I'm guessing, or very low 30s, like very low 30s.
Yeah. It's gonna be Robert Pattinson.
Listen,
Play two different versions of.
I said this after the Batman came out, and I was a bit emotional because I thought it was a brilliant movie.
Yeah.
I thought he was like the best or second best Batman on screen Batman.
That's such a tough.
I think if what we're seeing develop through the Matt Reeves lens, I think he could go down as the best on-screen Batman.
I think you're right. I think he's trending there.
Yeah.
Just by that.
The
first
potential
movie.
is there.
I like the word potential.
Well, even just watching his evolution in that film, even in the first Batman, from like that final fight that he had in the arena and him becoming this person of hope versus vengeance. And I kind of dug that, which a lot of Batman fans don't like, because the whole idea is he's about vengeance. Oh my God.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Nick's dying. That's YouTube again.
Superman's the hope. Yeah, they heard something they didn't like. Superman's the hope.
I think you could still have Batman be hope, but a violent hope.
Oh, there.
A very violent hope. Like
An angry hope?
An angry hope. Hope instead of hope.
Would that make the Batmobile the Hope Mobile?
Yeah.
It's all stained glass. It's all stained black. It's all tinted.
And it's just this image with his hands out.
Oh my gosh. Like like a
Tinted glass.
Scott Stapp. Like,
Scott Stapp is Batman. What do you guys think?
well, I
Yeah.
just heard the Joker today. Oh.
I gotta say, every time you guys mention Batman, the Brave and the Bold, I just immediately think Batman soap opera.
I do too. Every time I hear the title, no, Robin.
I think the Bold and the Beautiful or something like.
Yeah. You know what?
Alfred's my lover.
What? I'm still excited for it. James Gunn has shown he can handle DC properties with like the Peacemaker and everything. So I think he'll be fine. Even though the Peacemaker wasn't an original character, but
It was a great show.
it was a great show.
Yeah.
And I like the Suicide Squad too. It didn't blow up.
Suicide Squad or the Suicide?
The Suicide
Yeah.
Squad. I like that a lot too.
And James Gunn has come out and said, or it might have been, what's his name? Who's the star of Peacemaker? John Cena. He said that
Dun, 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 dun.
everything from the Peacemaker is canon minus a few scenes, which my
Justice
assumption,
League.
my assumption is the Justice League at the end of it, where they come out and he makes a joke about screwing a fish.
Yeah.
Or the scene where they're at the table and he's just
And then the boys are like,
I love that scene.
we're gonna do that. Screw a fish.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of James Gunn, do you guys hear the rumor about the Superman trailer? Which I think is really weird for one reason.
No, I have not heard the rumor.
Spill it.
The rumor out there was it's going to be attached to a Disney movie.
It's not a bad idea.
The Mufasa that's coming out.
Oh, that's a perfect idea.
But a Warner Brothers movie attached to a Disney movie?
You can still do that. That happens all the time.
like during the previews.
Yeah, it's like it's
Do it.
standard. They call it standard.
Yeah.
What's a big Warner Brothers movie that's coming out this year? Is Wicked Warner Brothers?
I thought that was ICP. Wicked
Brothers
Wicked Clown.
releases. Let me see.
Any Shaggy 2 Dope fans out there?
No.
Violent
There-
J was the other one?
Yeah.
There's
There a third at one point?
I think it's always been 2.
Okay.
there's no good Warner Brothers films coming out in December of 2024.
Who was Wicked?
Red One is the last. Oh wait, here we go. Upcoming. Here we go. The Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim.
Okay.
That's the only December 13th release. So you can't release it with that. That movie's not going to make a lot of money. It's an animated film. It's not going to make a lot of money. So yeah, your only choice is Mufasa.
So when Superman trailer comes out, can we jump online and do a trailer reaction?
Can we be at Mufasa?
Do we have to go watch
night?
Mufasa first?
I will be there for the midnight showing of Mufasa for that.
Oh yeah, that's how they sucker a guy like me in to go watch that movie. I'm like,
And then the theater empties out as soon as Mufasa starts.
you know, working in a movie theater, that actually happened from time to time.
Oh,
where
yeah.
people would come in and watch the trailers and then just jet out.
I Am Legend
Really?
back in the day.
Yeah.
When I Am Legend when they did the first 8 minutes of The Dark Knight. Like as the movie started. You know, the Joker's
Yep.
break-in scene. Yeah.
Oh, that was
They played the whole scene of that up until the point where he drives off in the school bus. They played that whole scene.
Oh my god.
And then the theater.
That'd be awesome.
I saw I Am Legend and the theater literally emptied out.
Yeah.
And I stayed for I Am Legend and I thought it was pretty good, minus the ending sucked. But yeah.
That's an interesting. The first 8 that's so good. That opening is so good.
Yes.
I will be there day one to see Mufasa.
For Mufasa or
I
for
will
Superman?
I will dress up as Mufasa for that day.
What is it? Can we take a look at what Mufasa is? It like a origin? Like a
Yes, it's a origin.
story? Oh
It's
Jesus
kind of-
Christ!
Yeah, it's like
What we all need to know.
it's like the Lion King. It's
Well,
how
I
they
know
did the
he's-
Lion
yeah.
King
What's the
live
release?
action. Yeah,
What's the release date?
December 14th.
So
December 20 never.
Let me double check actually on that one. December 20th actually.
Well, that's a long time away.
yeah,
They said it was coming out soon.
that's less. That's
less than a
3
month.
weeks.
Man,
That's 3 weeks.
that's not soon.
Well, I just heard the news today.
No,
It seems Mufasa is going to change.
no, he's not. That's what we know.
That's,
we
we
all
know he's
that.
not. He's going to die.
Yeah, we kind of know the ending.
Scar takes his hand, pushes him off
shouldn't
the
have-
cliff.
Just push on.
Okay,
Simba's left
so
alone
did you see next week, Joe? Because I don't know if this
without
is
a
your humor.
wish.
Anthony Jeselnik has a special coming out.
Yes, I did see this. Have you seen any?
I have seen
Bits of it?
I saw like the first clip. I guess he opens the show with, and he opens it as inappropriate as you might.
Yeah.
And so he just has this grin on his face because he's like, it's like him saying, "I'm back.
Yeah,
You're welcome." What was the joke? I don't know if I can even say it on here.
I think was it
That's-
it was child related.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. So, but did you see his look?
He
He looks like thin, like really.
he's thinner.
Yeah.
He's definitely thinner.
And
Do you ever watch his podcast? He does with
No.
it's another comedian, I forget his name. But they do a podcast. So
I tried it once and it was not what I needed at the time.
yeah, it's definitely
Oh, he's
Anthony Jeselnik-esque.
Yeah.
Like it's very dry, like
like extremely dry.
Yeah.
And so, I went into that podcast thinking I was going to get something a little more lively, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's not the right
It's
word.
not. It's plotting.
Yeah.
Is what it.
But you're driving or whatever it is, and like I can't do this when I'm driving.
Mm-mm.
So I had to regroup. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So when I think that comes out Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll be watching it.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
What's that one called? It's what is it called? Dang it!
His
What is
specials?
it? Yeah,
I
no,
don't know
this
the
one
name.
coming out.
Yeah, we don't know the name.
Who cares?
Oh no. Yeah, it's called Who Cares.
Who cares? Okay, gotcha. Okay.
You can't just Google Anthony Jeselnik special.
No, that's too difficult for him.
I got to treat you like my kids. Google exactly what you're looking. This is how I tell my kids to Google. You just like whatever you're thinking. The
put it
question,
directly
the
in there,
question you're thinking.
Yeah.
Put all those words in Google. Google that.
Yeah,
and
it
will come
almost
up.
always works,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Because it's called Bones and All.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's special. Yeah, I always blows my mind when people don't know how to Google properly, right?
They're like, I don't even know how. What would I ask?
search for?
Well,
Exactly what you're asking.
Exactly. Yes. You know how many times I've Googled? My Google search is like a 12-word question.
Is it normal to have a growth on my scrotum? Yeah, just put it into the search bar.
I've tried that for like. I'll
I'm
go over to
just going to put that in just for kids.
after this episode. I'll kind of tell you what I was
Is it
looking for.
normal to have
It never
growth
found what I was looking for.
on my
I
scrotum?
even expanded and then expanded and then expanded.
You're the only person in the history of mankind to not get the results you're looking for.
I even looked at my wife. I'm like, am I being difficult here? She goes, I'm surprised it just doesn't give you what you want right there.
So I just found out, by the way, and it's fairly common to get lumps on your scrotum. They're usually non-cancerous conditions.
That's good to
Testicular
know
lumps
for
as
you,
well.
I guess.
I guess so. I didn't even know it was an issue, but now it's especially not.
I have two rather large lumps on my scrotum. I don't know what they're like. They're like next to each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
do you want me to feel them for you?
No, they're just. I don't know. They're
Well,
weird.
if you apply pressure, do they hurt a little bit?
They're inside too.
Yeah.
It's odd.
You might want to get that checked out because I don't.
It's
have
been there
any-
my whole life.
I
Like
don't have
it's
any.
crazy.
I don't have that. You might want to get that checked out.
You might want to get that checked out.
I think it's perfectly healthy.
Yep. Just to have a turkey neck scrotum.
That's a freaking hilarious imagery, actually. Oh, okay. So, a couple other things.
It is Thanksgiving week, though.
It is
So
Thanksgiving
we're being
weekend.
festive.
You're on theme.
Yeah, it is Thanksgiving weekend. So, couple other things. There is what was I going to say? Oh, the box office. This weekend is a huge weekend for the American box office because there are two giant movies coming out.
Oh.
We have Wicked coming out this weekend and Glad He Ate Her Too. So we'll
Don't Google Glad He Ate Her Too. That's probably a real movie, and you're gonna get folks in trouble.
Oh dear. Oh no. So we got another Gladiator movie, and it's Ridley Scott again, right?
Yeah.
And then Wicked. So couple things. Wicked is getting killer reviews right now.
Really?
Yeah. They not only by
real reviews. Have
yeah.
these been vetted?
not on Rotten Tomatoes. It stands at 89% with the critics.
Oh.
And 98% with the fans.
That's
Which
pretty
is
good.
really impressive, right?
Pretty good.
To be liked by critics and fans, it's very rare that it happens, especially with a musical. That never happens. So, but here's the thing that's weird to me. Wicked is a 2.5 hour to 3 hour long musical.
Mm-hmm.
This is part one. They're making a second Wicked.
How long is this Wicked?
It
Film.
is, let's see, Wicked runtime is 2 hours and 40 minutes.
The movie is 3 hours.
The movie is almost 3 hours.
Why
off a
are
3
we
hour
doing
play?
this?
Why are we? I know
As a
we've
society,
we've talked about this multiple times.
Reel it back in.
Yeah, but you were just
It doesn't-
talking about how much you like the Batman, which is 2 hours and 40 minutes.
I know,
But the Batman was a standalone movie.
it was kind of.
2 hours and 56 minutes.
In theory, the Batman is a standalone movie, but it is part of a
It's gonna be
series
part
of
a
films.
series, yes.
But what I'm saying is, when I go to the theater, I'm expecting the Batman to be a longer movie. That's a movie that I see. It's going to be longer. Do we like what? Wicked's got to be 3 hours or 6 hours or however long.
Inform me if I'm wrong, but isn't Wicked kind of something you would take your kids to too? Like I've seen a lot of adult parents saying taking my kids to this movie, and it's like if it's a 3-hour movie and you're taking your 12-year-old there or your 8-year-old.
Is it a bit more? I mean, I don't mean adult themed in that it's like there's anything bad in it or like.
It's PG-13.
Mature. I want to say like. Just the content is a little more for the mature mind, or more.
So I can't
like
watch it.
A more mature analytical viewer. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. I would say this is like a preteen and up movie.
2 hours. When you said part one, if it was a standalone Wicked 240, all right, do your thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why are we turning Wicked into Lord of the Rings?
Because it's going to make a lot of money.
That's
why
true.
they're doing. And they have.
I blame. Who do I blame for this? I got to blame somebody.
The evil witch.
Maybe I do blame Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson.
No, don't you dare! Don't you?
I blame, or I blame Harry Potter.
Harry Potter,
or what was the other?
Well, a lot of those books could have been split.
Hunger Games did that too. They broke the final one into part 1 and part 2. What else did that?
Some may argue that Harry Potter that would have been better if they split more of the books up into 2.
Honestly, well, it'd be better as a series, which they're doing. So, oh gosh,
is there any updates on that?
What was it? They did a lot of those movies where they started splitting them.
Back to you know what? I blame Back to the Future.
Don't you dare!
Back to the Future of all franchises, we blame them. The Holy Trinity.
Yeah, they have essentially 3 perfect films. I blame them.
They had
because everybody tries it. You know, we'll just Back to the Future this shit.
Yeah, what is it with the trilogy dedication? Like
Star Wars.
Everything has Star Wars.
Do you want to know what one of the first modern movies to split into 2 parts was? In 1989, The Toxic Avenger Part 2 was filmed as one movie, but they later re-edited it into 2. The Toxic Avenger Part 2 and The Toxic Avenger Part 3, The Last Temptation of Toxie.
Jesus.
Kill Bill was originally planned as one film, but was split into 2.
Okay.
So that makes sense. They're totally different. Oh my gosh, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End is a direct continuation of Dead Man's Chest.
They were filmed separately, though, weren't they?
No, they were filmed back to back.
Were they?
Yes, yeah. Harry Potter. And the
you know what? I got
Hallows.
a problem with that. That's like doing a TV show and naming it Part 1 and Part 2, or not naming it Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Same movie.
Breaking Dawn. Oh, the Twilight films.
If you can blame Twilight, we blame Twilight.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good one. And then you had The Hobbit, of course, did that. And I think The Hobbit was a good, that was a children's book and they made it into 3 movies. There's no way they should have done that. But yeah, there you go. Those are the films that did it, I think. Some of these other ones make sense, like Dune. Okay, you have to break Dune into multiple parts because that's a freaking long series.
Yeah.
Or they have...
That's a long book, too.
Yeah, they have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That's actually a good example because they split that into 2 parts, right? With part 1 releasing June of 2023 and part 2 March of 2024.
The whole Part 1 and Part 2.
Before they removed it. Yeah, they removed it from the calendar because it was originally supposed to be part 1 and 2. And then the Writers Guild strike happened.
Damn.
I would venture to guess though, like the trilogy becoming a thing, like it has to go back to Star Wars.
I just want somebody to be original. Like I'm not making a trilogy. I'm making 4 movies instead.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get off.
A quadrilogy.
Yeah.
Hour and a half movies.
Yeah. Let's do something different. I want to make 4 movies as opposed to 3 or 5. Call your shot.
Like it just doesn't work that way.
I
Aesthetically and like mathematically, it just
fight the system though, man.
Right, because
that's what I say.
They're following the whole structure of a book in the first place, where the opening act, the middle act, and the closing.
Everybody's got to do trilogies. Do something different. Be original.
Yeah. What can you do? So, Wicked is killing it, and then you got Gladiator 2 coming out, and I don't know what...
Everything I hear about Gladiator 2 says it's excellent.
Let me look up...
It's got Denzel in it. I mean, it's going to be excellent.
I'm going to look up the reviews on that one right now real quick. So critics are at 72% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's
and
racist.
Fans are at 84%. So again, very good, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll see it. I've never seen the first one.
Oh,
I can honestly say I've never seen the first one.
Updated.
You want to know what? Me either.
Updated 2 days ago. The Harry Potter TV series is expected in 2026
On HBO.
Yeah.
2026.
It's so long. That's when we're going to see the Batman, though, if that.
Man, tell me about it.
Because now they push back the filming of that until mid-2025 at the earliest. The script is not done yet, according to James Gunn.
Yes.
Which last week I said the script was done.
Well, because there's
What?
I think
the Bold and the Beautiful.
No, the Batman 2.
Oh,
didn't Reeves say it was done? I thought Matt Reeves was the one that
Matt Reeves might have said it's done, but maybe once it got to James Gunn's like, no.
or
got
maybe
more work
maybe
to
he
do.
hasn't shown it to James Gunn saying no, it's mine. No.
26.
26 will be a good year though.
I know. I guess I don't necessarily need any Batman in 25,
Slow your roll there a little bit.
but
We always need Batman.
I actually think this is a smart move. Again, what's the biggest problem with film these days is overexposure of
Sure.
characters. That's what happened with Marvel.
well, plus
Take your time.
plus 2025, we'll get Creature Commandos, we'll get Peacemaker season 2,
I
we'll
have
get
no
Superman.
interest in Creature
Yeah.
Commandos.
I'm gonna give it a try.
Isn't it going to be on HBO? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a try just because it's part of that universe.
And then Peacemaker I'll watch. Yeah.
I think we talked about this in a previous episode or something about the Batman timeline, about how you'll probably get some sort of something around this time of year next year.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you'll get maybe a teaser, or you'll get some production photos, or you get something, and then by late 25, early 26, you should see some stuff. And
Yeah.
I'd
I
imagine
think that'd be okay.
Yeah, like think about when we got the original The Batman trailer. That was like 2 years before the movie was released.
yeah, we
But
got
it's-
production photos before
And
that.
it satiated me for that time, right?
Yeah.
Something in my ass.
I'd imagine they do like the Matt Reeves feel for things. If they didn't do like a big viral campaign, kind of like they did for the Dark Knight, I think it's a missed opportunity. Like building up to it.
They won't.
Especially if
Well, maybe they will.
the storyline we think is going to happen, that is right
That is
for
built for it.
yes.
Missed out. So it just kind of feels like that's a perfect thing for that universe.
Now I really hope they do Court of Owls.
Yes.
Oh, they're doing a Waller live action series as well. I'm
Yes.
looking at a sheet of.
Oh,
all
that's
the-
too many movies.
Well, Viola Davis
movies.
is fantastic.
Well, a lot of these are series, so that's a series. Superman Legacy isn't. Lanterns is a series. The Authority, I'm assuming that's, I don't know what that is. Swamp Thing. They are doing a Swamp Thing, yeah.
You said the script's written.
it says underneath it, film.
Yep.
Film.
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Booster Gold is a series. Batman Brave and the Bold film.
Swamp Thing. I'm in for a
So
Swamp Thing
look at
film.
this. You only have one. The chapter 1 is 1, 2.
I can't look at anything
3,
because we're listening
4,
on the radio.
4. I'm just saying. Stop it. 4 films is in the first chapter: Batman, Superman, Swamp Thing, and the Authority. And then the rest. Oh, Supergirl too. So 5. So, and then the rest are series.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the way to do it. Then again, Marvel is focused a lot on the series, and they've been terrible. So
I heard like this Agatha show is really good.
the what?
The Agatha, all
the way,
Agatha
all along.
all along, I heard, is pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Agatha
so-
Christie all along. The
but I'm
Watchtower.
What a twist.
I'm just going off of what I've seen in some of the other ones. I
Yeah.
haven't watched.
Oh,
Agatha.
Hawkeye was amazing. Slowly
Hawkeye
roll.
was good. I actually didn't mind She-Hulk. I didn't love it, but I didn't mind it.
I loved Hawkeye, and maybe it's because it's the only series I watched. The only Marvel one I watched. I watched Hawkeye and Peacemaker, and I loved them both.
Oh, wait a second.
And Ben Penguin.
Isn't Hawkeye a Christmas series?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start watching that right now.
Yes, Hawkeye is a winter.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to watch that.
And I'm going to watch Winter Soldier. Just because it has winter in the name.
I like it. Have you guys seen that unification AI video that's going out? Oh,
No.
so it's a Star Trek video that brings Kirk back to kind of see Spock as he's dying, and they use a combination of AI, CGI, and live action to film it. Like Sam Witwer, I don't know if you know who that is, but he played like Doomsday in Smallville. He does a lot of voice acting, and he's been in other things.
Gretchen's dad.
But they use him as like a body for Kirk, and then somehow like it's it's a beautifully filmed thing. It's AI, and
Nope.
but it's just so amazingly put together.
Not doing it.
It's very impressive.
I see. That's my thing too. Is it uses AI, so it's kind of
You know what? You know what AI is doing? It's going after you emotionally,
yeah, and it is,
and it's gonna get you. It already got you.
it has not got me, but I gotta admit, this
Is that AI?
is really
this is AI. Yes. Oh, this is not. This is just still of it. I'm sorry. I gotta get.
So they actually, like, Shatner came in to kind of get his mannerisms down, and it was just how it was put together. I'm more interested in how it was put together than the actual end product, because there was really no speaking. They had Savick come back, which was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. But like, you're right, Joe. Like, it relies a lot on AI film generation, and I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that. And to me, that looks very fake. That looks very.
Yeah.
Some of these shots look very, very fake.
AI's not there yet. They're getting closer.
No, but for as good, but I have to admit, this is pretty good.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. AI.
Do I love it? No, I don't. But as far as the production that went into this, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
I get more like that's the whole reason I like Disney World. I like the production, like the thought process, the engineering that goes into it.
there is something to that, but I don't know. I thought it was interesting, but
Once you let AI in the door, they're going to take their shoes off. They're going to sit down on your couch. They're going to raid your fridge.
you're right. Exactly.
Soon they're banging your wife. AI will not stop.
Here's the thing, though. Like, there's no stopping it. Like, it doesn't matter if we reject it.
AI is going to start creating AI and just releasing it.
Wasn't there an AI movie with Megan Fox where she like banged the husband?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
What was that called?
I don't have any
Not
idea.
reality is what it's called.
Asking for a friend. I mean, I don't know.
They've released a couple movies like that where, like, it's like a robot maid and the husband sleeps with them, or like the kid sleeps with the maid, and it's ridiculous.
Subservience.
Okay.
And this is a perfect role for Megan Fox because her face doesn't move anymore, anyways, with all the surgery.
That's true. She looks like AI.
Hey.
Well, she's built like a robot. Like they make her up like so she's a little more even more plastic.
No,
there.
I don't think they really need.
Can I get a? We do this for everybody, all sexes, races, everything. Megan Fox is ugly. I'm telling you right now. She's not attractive.
Ever or now?
Not ever. There was a point where she was attractive, and then there was a point where she just wasn't, and she never recovered. The pendulum never swung back.
Because in Transformers,
More Than Meets the Eye.
Yeah,
my gosh!
Like in the early days, and then, I mean, I'm already being critical and judgmental, but the whole I've gotten a lot of work done look is just
It's not
off-putting.
attractive. It's not.
Oh, I agree.
And I don't know. I mean, it's probably a way bigger and deeper, multi-layered conversation, but
Yeah, like
I just hate. I just hate the fact that people who are naturally beautiful, like she was,
Oh, absolutely.
feel that they need to get
because of
work
Hollywood.
done. And how
Yeah.
old is Megan Fox? She's got to be our age,
think
if
she-
not younger.
Closer. I think she's a little bit younger than like you. Or no,
she's
you're
30.
Him,
She-
she's 38.
Oh, she's Daniel Craig's age.
She's 38.
Look at that's 38 versus Daniel Craig's 38. Daniel Craig looks like her grandfather.
Yeah, like if I look up Megan Fox at the age of 22 is very different than the Megan Fox today. Oh yeah, there you go. There's a good example of it, right? Like
I mean, even that's not my favorite look. The whole dolled up look
Yeah,
is not
yeah,
something
yeah.
that it's does me any favors, but
right.
yeah, 2001,
Yeah.
like the early 2000s.
But that makes us sound creepy because in 2001 she was 20 years old. You're like, yeah, the last time she was super attractive was when she was 20.
We were also
We were the same age.
we were 20 years younger too.
Well, no, 2001 she was
20.
no, she wasn't. She was probably 16.
You guys are creeps.
If you do the math,
No, okay, hold on.
2001 was 23 years old,
You guys
or
are
23 years ago. You do a little quick. Boop, 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 boop,
Oh
boop,
my
boop,
gosh.
boop, boop.
Hold on.
That's 15 to me.
Hold on. So
can
in
we-
Transformers, she was only. Oh my gosh, no.
There's no way she was 16 during Transformers. There's no
Transformers
way.
wasn't 01 though.
That was 08?
What was
06.
Oh,
06.
come on.
08? 08.
2007. 2007 was
Okay, so
okay.
21.
And Megan
so she
Fox was born in 86. So
21.
okay, she was legit. She was
21.
Yeah.
Were you sweating it over there, Nick?
A little bit, because I'm like, I remember seeing the Transformers, and I'm like, hey.
I think
but just remember, you were also 21 years younger.
yes.
Yes.
Or 17 years younger.
Yes. See, I think there she's beautiful there. That's 2014. You might not find her super attractive, but she doesn't look fake there.
She's on the trajectory to what I would deem unattractive.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. I hear you.
I hate that people who are or anybody, even if you don't find them attractive, I just hate people who feel like, I don't hate them. I hate that people feel like they need to get plastic surgery to
When they're already stunning.
maintain some sort of attractiveness to stay in Hollywood or stay in showbiz or whatever.
Well, I mean, we learned from talking to Na that
it's
especially for females, you kind of feel like you have to,
You
and it's
don't have
sad.
a choice. Oh dear, I just looked up some plastic surgery people.
Oh,
and
he's gone down a rabbit hole.
It's
no.
scary. It's scary.
Oh, who's that guy?
Neven Siganovich, a 47-year-old who goes by Starleton, had his first surgery at 22. Oh my gosh. I was trying to find who's the one I was thinking. Mickey Rooney. No.
Can you
not
cast
Mickey
it to the
Rooney.
TV?
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey
is the one I
Rourke,
was
he was
thinking of.
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke is the one I was thinking of. Yeah. But his is a product of the fact that he used to box as well, and he messed up his face. But he's scary looking now. But because when you see pictures from when he started his career,
Like that one. That is a good side by side.
that's him when he started.
Yeah.
If you look up Mickey
He's
Rourke,
a handsome
look
fella.
up when he started his career. It kind of looks like Bruce Willis a little bit, actually, doesn't he?
A little bit, yeah.
And then you look up now, and you're
I think
like,
all white guys in the 80s look like Bruce Willis.
This dude had too much plastic surgery. Oh, there's a good.
He may have drank a lot too.
A lot of substance abuse issues he had. A lot of
I think it was the 80s, and there was some drugs out there.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Just a few.
yeah.
Oh, what year is that? That's got to be sometime in the 90s,
Early
late 90s.
Yeah, and then he started plastic surgerying himself.
Oh.
And, and he lost it. He totally lost it, man. He totally lost it.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. We've been talking for 37 minutes, and we haven't talked any Star Trek.
Sounds like a good day to me.
Can we move on to some Star Trek?
Let's go.
Well, let's do it. Transfigurations. The Enterprise discovers crashed escape pod. There's a dude in there. He's in terrible shape. He's missing an arm, man. He's jacked. But he's gonna live because he's got these weird recuperative powers. And his cells are mutating. The guy wakes up. They're calling him John Doe. He has amnesia. He doesn't know what's going on, which Crusher is into. She's like, I like my men who have no idea who they are. And so she's into him. Wesley's like, ooh, Mom, you going to bone him? And she's like, maybe, which is the weirdest conversation in the world. Yes, they basically have that conversation.
Maybe,
I think I missed that.
In the meantime, Geordi's trying to find out where the pod comes from. They do some techno-babbling and find out where it comes from. But while they find out where he came from, another ship starts beelining towards them. This guy with amnesia, John Doe, says he needs to get off the ship. He kills Worf trying to get off the ship, but then brings him back to life. And then it turns out that he's from a planet where all the people are undergoing some sort of evolutionary stage where they become a new energy being. And the planet is scared of him, so it's going around killing all these people before they can evolve. And the Enterprise is like, no, you shall not kill him. And then the energy beam guy does his energy beam thing, and he escapes happily ever after.
I have the shortest review for this.
It sucked.
Classic Star Trek. It sucked.
See,
This is a classic Star Trek story, and it kind of stinks.
I can't. So this morning when I woke up, I'm like, okay, so we got Best of Both Worlds and we got Transfigurations. I'm like, I watched it, but I don't remember it. So I popped it on just to kind of I can't say it sucked,
Yeah,
but I
you
could say it was
can.
forgettable as hell.
Yeah.
Because even I turned it back on and you walked in and was playing and I'm like, all right, I remember this. There's things that I thought were fun,
Yeah.
but
the end of the episode.
but
I was being a bit facetious when I was saying it sucked, but
Yeah.
it was like, this is like a tradition.
it's just
If you-
forgettable.
Okay. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
had early stage AI make a Star Trek episode, this would be
This
this is
fits
what
it.
they would
Nice.
this is what they would do.
Yeah,
They beam down to a planet, like
very generic.
it was very generic Star Trek, which knowing what was coming next, I was like, oh, okay, I get, like, I wasn't as bothered by it as I probably would have been if this was mid-season or early season, because I'm like, okay, I know I don't know Best of Both Worlds. I just know that it's revered. Both part 1 and 2. So I know something very good is coming and very important is coming.
Allegedly very good.
Wait another. If you wait 15 minutes, I'll let
Yeah.
you know what I thought. But it was more like a. Okay, well,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and
So and
I thought the subplot with Geordi was actually better than the thing itself, where
Chrissy
where
Henshaw was
everything
a
was
cutie.
coming up. Everything was coming up.
coming up
in the forge.
Millhouse.
Yeah.
Everything was coming up Millhouse.
Yeah, exactly. And all of a sudden, and then Worf with his comment, "You must let her see the fire in your eyes." And then they show a shot of Geordi, and he has a visor on, so you can't see his eyes.
I thought that was. I don't know if I thought that was fucking hilarious. It might have been the funniest line of the whole season.
yeah.
I thought it was. I was dying.
Oh my
Well,
gosh!
and then he's like, right after that, he goes, well, what do I say to her? And Worf's like, words come later.
Yeah.
The scent comes first.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Could you imagine Worf being your wingman?
I have much to teach you about women.
And then she comes over and he basically like shits his pants.
Well, this is the same girl from the booby trap one that he tries to
And
get
she's
with.
like, "I'm not interested in
Yeah.
you that way,"
How the turntails of terror.
because
Yes.
he's confident now,
Well,
right?
like even that, maybe like over time, she's like, all right, this guy is pretty cool because she looked into him. He just had no idea how to talk to her.
Yeah, every time. Because she's like, she was trying to open the door for small talk or at least
It was like Raj.
conversation, and
Yeah.
then he was like,
It was like
Yeah, it's
Raj.
crazy.
Yeah, it's like Raj from Big Bang Theory.
yeah,
Yes.
where he clams up when talking to women.
"Oh,
yeah.
another all-time favorite sitcom of mine."
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
It's
Love
solid,
Big
but
Bang
it's the
Theory.
same thing for every single season.
yeah, but you get 12 fucking seasons of it.
and it's
That's true. That's true.
See, and I thought it was executed. Like people are
I mean,
crapping on
there's-
Big Bang Theory these days, and I'm like, I didn't.
No, I loved it.
I think it wasn't great for nerd culture.
I
in
thought
the
it was
sense-
excellent.
I
For
thought
nerd.
it helped
as,
quite a
as
bit.
somebody firmly planted in nerd culture, I thought it was excellent for it.
And
I
as
just
someone
felt
who's
like it's stereotyped
also planted,
too far of an extent.
no, I thought it did.
I thought it like took the stereotype and was like, "Yep, these are true," but also expanded on like it sort of broke the walls down
Yeah.
without saying, "Oh, that's not true," because you want to know
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
It
yeah.
absolutely fucking is true.
Well,
All
like
that
there,
shit is
there
true.
was the one
stereotypes are
episode in
true.
there.
Have you been to a comic book store?
Yeah.
So I've watched most of them. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but like there was the one episode where the girls were all gathered and they had a bunch of the comics and they're like, "I don't understand what these guys are arguing about," and like in the comics, and they're like, and then like someone says something about Thor's hammer, like anyone can pick it up, and they're like, "No, he can't because it's magical," and then it like cuts to 4 hours later and they're arguing in the apartment.
I thought that was
And they're
awesome.
reading all these comic
Yeah.
books because they're like, "Oh, now I get it. Like this is why they're arguing all the time about comics." You know, I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, it takes a stereotype
And,
that comics are
for men only.
Less so now, but I mean, Big Bang Theory started in I think 07. And I think that was around the time there was like this nerd culture seismic shift.
Yes.
Where it like blew the doors open, and now it's everything's for everybody.
Well, like when I was a kid, I liked comic books. I liked Star Trek, and there's something else I like nerdy. I can't remember. I still like GI Joe as a teen,
That's a great shot.
and
Starbuck in bed with a.
you kind of had to
Howard.
hide it because people would
Yeah.
give you so much crap about.
Try getting asked that way in the 90s.
Yeah,
Ain't gonna work out for you.
Ain't
Nope.
gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen.
That's how good this episode was. We're breaking down Big Bang Theory instead of talking about the episode.
All right, no, but going back to Geordi, there's like and Worf too. Like we're Worf later on. He's like, I've been tutoring him, and he learns very quickly after he gets off the turbo.
Worf has some great one-liners in this guy.
Yeah, he does. He's very quick to take the credit for Geordi's transformation.
God.
Yeah.
Which was all because of that guy, right? He took off some of his juju.
Yep.
And then you also have the start of the recurring joke with O'Brien
his
separating his shoulder,
Yep.
kayaking, because he does that quite a few times in DS9.
Yep.
Like 3 or 4 times, I think. In DS9.
I like that. It was long. It's long standing.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for reminding me, because when he said that, it felt familiar. And
Okay.
I'm like, I didn't know why. I'm like, as soon as he walked in with that suit, I'm like, oh, he was doing an outdoor thing, I bet.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I was separating my shoulder kayaking. I'm like, I swear he did that before.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But not before, in the future.
In
Well,
the
before
year
for me.
2000. In the year 2000.
I know the guy had like super healing powers, but I actually liked how this episode did show Beverly have to do some doctoring.
Yeah.
And yeah,
When
her
she kept
doctoring
it in her pants.
Yeah, her
Instead of like just scanning someone and be like, oh, it's separate, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh
It's AIDS.
no! Oh no! His arm's missing.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need a thing for that, lady.
Quick, like half his face is melted off. That was disgusting.
Which is a pretty graphic.
It was
shot,
pretty
like,
gross.
honestly.
I
They
will
did-
say.
Yeah, they did a good job with that one. I liked it.
For the- for the
his
penultimate-
brain is showing.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah,
And then she put that metal Band-Aid right on the brain. I'm like, that's gotta
gotta
hurt.
Good thing the guy's knocked out, right?
Yeah.
Like honestly,
I hope he has good medical insurance.
that bill's gonna be something bad.
Sky high. You got to get that metal Band-Aid's probably tens of thousands alone.
There's some good stuff with Beverly, some good character development. I feel like her conversation with Wesley was a little weird. Like Wesley, like trying to get his mom to get laid.
Well, here's the question I ask: if his mom's been by herself for however long the dad's been dead,
And Wesley's like 18
wouldn't
now.
you want your mom to maybe have some fun? Not necessarily like hook him
I
up,
know,
but,
I
but
know.
like go out on a date or
Companionship or
yeah,
so-
just
something.
Not to be lonely. Like even with my dad right now, my mom's been dead less than a year, but I still I want him to be able to do things. And if he were to find someone,
Do you ever envision your father not meeting somebody, but like finding a friend and maybe having coffee every once in a
Yeah,
while?
like a partner.
Not a partner, but like just somebody,
A buddy.
Somebody
I
to
would-
have coffee with and have a discussion maybe, or talk.
I would kill for that. But no, I don't see him doing that
Yeah.
because
let's get your dad laid.
Because like even yesterday, he called me. He's like, "Hey, can you do dailies tonight?" And I said, "I can't because I already had this going with Gavin and Crystal."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "God, I wish I could like
Yeah,
get him here." So
Yeah.
because that's a whole story for a different place. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So but I
some
could
companionship.
something for like I can understand why Wesley would be like maybe it was a little too much, but I could understand why he'd be like, "Hey, mom, you like the guy? Spit some game at him. What's up, girl?"
Yeah.
I see you ain't wearing that coat very much right now to kind of show off what you
What's
got
underneath?
going, what
What's
you're
underneath
working
that
with.
doctor's coat?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oops. Sorry.
I don't know. I feel like I feel the way that I feel about the penultimate Seinfeld episode,
Yeah.
the Puerto Rican Day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it's like the most forgotten Seinfeld episode that there is, and I think part of it is because they didn't replay it much because of the racial
the
element
racial
to it,
connotation of it, and people.
which
being
it wasn't
offended.
that bad, but it was. I mean, but
If
it was
it
also
was-
the penultimate episode. It wasn't very good. It was one of the worst, like content-wise, one of the worst Seinfeld episodes. And then it was right before the finale, so it's like you just kind of forget about it.
Right, which is this episode.
Yeah.
It's right before the season.
Like
3
it's not.
finale.
This episode isn't that bad. I wouldn't say it's good.
I wouldn't
just
even rank
forgettable.
it. I wouldn't
Yeah.
even
Just
rank.
Totally forgettable.
I think I'd put it towards the bottom of season 3.
Ultimately, I think you're right, but I don't.
I mean, we'll have to see when we actually go through our ratings because we'll finish season 3 today. But I was not impressed by it. I was not
no,
impressed.
I wouldn't say I was. I would never. There was nothing impressive about the episode.
Right.
Except for Jordy's game.
Jordy's Game alone gave it a couple points because that was entertaining the first half, and then then they move away from it by the end of the episode.
It was all filler. That's all they used it for.
It was your B story, right? Well, actually, there's like A, B, and C story here.
It was like a D- story in the storytelling.
Yeah, because it was really the cold open.
Yeah, it was just
anything.
Spurts.
Yeah. Do we want to move on to the Best of Both Worlds Part 1 then?
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. All right, the Enterprise responds to a distress call from the Federation colony on Juret 4. They arrive. The colony's gone. There's a giant hole in the ground. They suspect the Borg. Hansen arrives on board with Commander Shelby, and they're like, something's about to go down. You need Shelby because she knows her crap. She's one you want to talk to. Hansen informs Picard that Riker's been offered a new command, and Picard's surprised. He was offered the Melbourne. And they're like, he needs to take this position because people like Shelby are going to pass him by, man. He needs to stop sitting on his hiney. And all the meanwhile, Shelby is moving on. She's doing her Borg stuff, and Riker's getting threatened by her the entire time. Riker's getting upset with her, yelling at her, and she just keeps kind of doing her thing. And it gets to the point where they finally engage the Borg. The Borg demand that Picard surrender himself. He refuses, and there's a cat and mouse game that ensues. They go in hiding in a nebula. But it doesn't last very long. They have to get out of there. And during their time in the nebula, they plan a new weapon that can destroy the Borg. So they escape, and the Borg is moving towards Earth. It's moving towards Sector 001. We can't have that.
No.
And the Federation has said, we're going to try to stop them at Wolf 359, which is a famous name in Star Trek history. And while this is all happening, Riker's now in command because they've captured Picard, and Picard or Riker wants to take an away team to rescue him, but Troy reminds him he's due to be on the ship, and they try to rescue Picard. They have no luck, and they see Picard is now a Borg, and he says resistance is futile. You will be assimilated, and Riker says fire, and the episode ends.
Way better than the one before.
I am Locutus of
Just
Borg.
a little bit. Just a little bit.
Your life as it has been is over.
As it has been.
From this time forward, you will service
Didn't even know his own name.
us. Locutus. Locutus of Borg. Would you think that once he becomes a Borg, his accent would have gone away because he becomes one of them? Because the Borg talk like this.
They selected him as a representative, so they
so
made
he's a Borg, but he's not a Borg.
They made a program to him to keep his native accent.
Right, so he's more identifiable, and people will be like, "Oh, these Borg aren't so bad. They got Jean-Luc."
Yeah.
Oh, Lukey's back.
Jean-Luc is here.
He's got cute in his name.
I know. He's so cute.
He's so cute, Jean-Luc.
That laser he's got coming out of his eye would be fun for the cats.
That's a fun laser. Ooh.
That's what is that? What do they call it? What does Numbnuts do? J.J. Abrams. In all the Star Treks, he does
lens flare.
Lens flare.
Lens flare.
That's like anytime they try to shoot the Borg and they've adapted. That's lens flare. Because that was a cheesy effect. I mean, it's the early 90s, so what do you
You thought it was cheesy? Where there was like
the
it looked like
square,
one. You know, it reminded me of how when some like sports bars will have like multiple TVs to make one screen, and like one of them is off color a little bit.
It's like broken or whatever. Okay, so a couple things. First of all, Riker, he's kind of being a little bitch with Shelby. I thought, like, this guy is getting so hurt that she's good at her job.
Yeah.
I think he was overreacting every single frickin' time.
Well,
Every time? You don't think she was overstepping a little bit?
I think she was overstepping. Absolutely.
The biggest overstep she had. Okay, she had a couple oversteps.
She went right to Riker, she went right to Picard.
Well,
chain of command, man.
She went to Picard, so
chain of command.
That was one, and then beaming down early.
Yes, that's terrible.
Yes. Beaming down early is a bad look.
Yeah,
bad.
But prior to that, he was already on her case. Like the second they were in that ready room together, when he meets her. And they're talking on the turbo lift, like he's already like lighting into her, and like talking about.
Well, I don't. the thing is, you don't get to their level without being assertive and without being a decision maker. Whether or not you think Riker is a good decision maker and he can make the big decision,
Yeah.
like you don't get to his level if you're not assertive and aggressive, and for lack of a better term, like you have an alpha mentality when it comes to conflict. And when you get multiple people, like for neither of them, like neither Riker is stationed at the Enterprise, so I guess he would pull rank.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
But they're when in a vacuum, they're the same level.
She's a lieutenant commander,
Okay.
so that's a step below.
Okay. So, but I mean, even so, like you're getting two people who are built for that position.
Yes.
Like I could absolutely, like if you got two other people, I could see them butting heads a little bit. Now, I think she needs to realize like she's on the Enterprise.
That's his house.
That's his house. Maybe pull back a little bit.
And he does outrank you because.
But
She was the first officer.
But I'm gonna guess that she was fed like you're next.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's what it's led to believe. Hanson's bringing her there, basically saying, "Here's your new first officer."
And so I think she wants to make an impression. Like, okay, I can do this job.
And she may have just assumed it was her job already, so therefore she's just like, all
And
right,
she may have
trying to take her
and
place.
she tried to own it.
Yeah,
she may have assumed that the reason she's being told is because Riker has already made a decision.
right. 'cause
So she might be
that.
under the impression that Riker has already made a decision to leave and maybe is going to help, bring her in and sort of supplant him.
Some of those looks she could give, though, oof.
They both can give a
both
look
were
though.
doing
Yeah.
that though.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing. That I think that's really what it was with Riker. Like he's constantly looking at her with disdain, right?
Yeah.
So this is okay. Now I'm thinking about it. I got it now. It's like after they first meet, they go into the turbo lift, and she's talking about how, like, she's gonna become the first off. What did she say? She said something along the lines of like, "Oh, when I take your position" or something like that. He's like,
Yeah.
"What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh, I thought you knew you were going to the Melbourne." And then then at that moment he starts getting really aggressive towards her, like it's like almost like he's peeing on her to mark his territory.
I read it as he was thrown off because people are telling him he's going there and he hadn't made a decision yet. So now he's like, okay, what's going on? So he had to kind of adjust on the fly, going, what is being said? Who's saying what? I didn't make a decision yet.
Yeah.
How many people know?
That's how I took it.
Yeah.
It's not, like he's being blindsided with the
Everyone's
being
decided,
replaced.
yeah.
with being replaced, but these are decisions that even if they were to happen, like he would have been a part of.
Yeah.
And if he's not a part of them, then
And he may have decided internally that he wasn't taking the Melbourne, which he tells Picard, but he hadn't told anybody yet. So now he's decided internally that he hasn't taken this position.
Yeah.
And everybody else thinks he is.
Which I Googled the Melbourne, and it's a good ship. It was a
no
Excelsior,
Enterprise.
it's an Excelsior class.
It's no flagship of the Federation.
I know, but you're not getting the flagship of the Federation.
No Defiant.
That's true.
Now something later happens to the Melbourne, but we'll see that later. Later on. In Deep Space Nine it happens. Oh no, never mind. Pretend like I said nothing. I thought
easy.
I thought it was
Easy.
a battle at DS9, like the final battle with the Cardassians and everything.
The Chintaka air.
Yeah, exactly. Battle of Chintaka. Yeah. So Melbourne is a really good ship, probably one of the better ones he could have gotten. And that's the question. Like
He's not ending on the Cerritos.
yeah, but you're Riker, right? You're not getting the Enterprise anytime soon because Picard just got there. He's only been there 3 years. Typically, it looks like these captains stay on a ship for 15 to 20 years, right? Give or take.
At least 5 for the 5-year mission.
And he should know that Star Trek only lasts 7 seasons.
Exactly. And there's going to be movies afterwards, so that
Yeah.
once it gets optioned for movies, like it's going to be a while, man, because
Yeah.
movies take 2 or 3
How
years.
long did it take Sulu?
True, and he
But
never
does
got his
he-
own film.
He does, but does he really have aspirations to be captain?
Well, this is the conversation he has with Troy, right?
Well, early
He
on.
did.
Well, if you remember early on, in the early seasons, yeah, that's what he wanted. Captain.
all he wanted.
But he got comfortable, or he maybe liked the prestige of the position, or whatever it might be. Because prestige of the first officer of the flagship probably stands out more than being the captain of the Melbourne.
That's what I'm saying. Is it? Do you think?
Excuse me.
Do you think it's not wrong, but do you think it's like giving up to stay at commander, to stay at first officer of the flagship, like the best crew in the Federation, or to continue? Do you feel like he's like, I don't know, kind of giving up if he doesn't move to captain?
All right, let's
I
think
think he's
about
holding
this.
out for Picard to get abducted by the board, to get assimilated by the board, to take the captaincy of the Enterprise with
Listen,
no choice.
Yeah, this
he's
is a
probably
long
thinking,
play.
as soon as he sees him, he's probably thinking, this is my shot.
Fire!
Fire! Why haven't we fired yet? Why haven't we fired yet?
We kill him now. I'm captain. Everybody can shut the hell up.
I'm the captain now.
And then he can fire the. Then he can fire the. Yeah, they can fire. What's her name?
Data Ray here. He's number one.
Yeah.
So let's think of a real world example where that would make sense.
I haven't boned you yet.
Let's say you're the vice president of the most successful of
Podcast
Microsoft.
ever.
Apple.
You're the vice president of Apple, right? And it's going to be a long time before you get that position, because I can't remember the guy's name who's in their charge.
Tim Apple.
Tim Apple.
Macintosh.
It's going to be a long time. And then another company comes along, let's say Oracle, which is a big company, comes along and says, we want to make you our president. We're no Apple, but we want to become an Apple someday, so we need you as our president. You're telling me you're not taking that position? I think you are.
Oracle's not. They'll never be Apple.
It doesn't matter.
Apple wasn't Apple until Apple became
You're
Apple.
still in command. You're still in charge. You're number one.
I think we're past those days.
I think it all depends, because is he happy there? What's the quality of life?
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between happiness, though, and placated, almost, right? Like, and I feel like right now.
You think Riker's placated? I think he's very content with what he's doing. I think he's very comfortable in the position. He knows the role. He does the role very well, despite the criticism he's receiving this episode. Yep. Like he doesn't have to make the. Are there how many decisions over the course of 3 seasons are you like, man, Riker really fucked that up?
I mean,
other than the women,
yeah.
other than the women.
Yeah.
No, he didn't fuck them up. He fucked them.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, I mean, he's good at his job.
He's good at his job.
He has a very good rapport with the crew above and below him. I mean, he has a very good rapport with
sleep with the crew,
which is a feather in his cap, because you know he could.
Yep.
Any
of them.
Any of them. Probably Worf actually would be down.
I see Worf look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or do you want to go to a new ship where you don't know is the crew any good? Are you going to get along with them?
You make the crew good. Picard made the crew what they were.
So let's equate to going to a church, right? So you're at your church. Your quality of life at your church is very good right now. Even if it's not, let's just say it is.
Yeah.
You have everything you need right now. You're cruising along.
I'm the lead, though.
That's true.
So let's talk about my last church, okay?
No, Jesus is the lead.
I was the associate at my last church. My last church had 400 members, a really active youth group, was doing extremely well, like a really healthy church. And then I got assigned to a church that was struggling, that was about to close, and it was just me. I was in charge there. I'd rather have that than be the associate at the other place, because the buck stops with me. And if things succeed, great, and if they don't, that's on me, kind of a thing. I want that. I want that sort of responsibility.
Do you think everybody should have that mindset?
Not everyone should.
Do you think if they
not
don't?
Everyone's a natural leader, but Riker is a leader. And
is he?
Him being, yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Is he a natural leader?
He's got a lot of charm and charisma that will help the position. I think we've seen things that says he's a leader.
I think we've seen it so far. You don't think we've seen it yet? Are you just being the devil's advocate?
A little
you got
of both.
Your fancy hands like
a
this.
little of both.
You've got a plan of attack here.
No, but a little of both. I am playing the devil's advocate a little bit, but I also think
Are you trying to play the best of both worlds here?
Hey,
yes.
It's a necessary evil.
But but is he really a captain?
Yes.
Or is he just an
captain?
excellent first officer?
Was this his first officer command? He was not a first officer yet.
I don't think he was before this.
This is his first command.
This is his first XO.
XO position. And he's been in XO for 3 years.
Almost 4.
Done an outstanding job.
So
Pulled unbelievable tail.
unbelievable.
His body count is legit.
Yeah.
You still, yeah. I think he's done enough to warrant getting his own.
Do you think his behavior?
And I think
honest question. Do you think his womanizing behavior suits a captain?
Have you seen James T. Kirk?
That's true.
Actually,
that's true.
You know,
It's like because as soon as I started,
As soon as I said it, I'm like, we already had an example of this.
yeah.
And it
you know where I
did
guess
kind of work, but he only lasted 3 seasons.
and he's only
that's true. That's
he's
true.
only the best captain in Starfleet history.
what are you going to do? I was going to say about Riker, I actually think something that works against him for his own command is like, so Shelby's in there, Hanson's in there, Picard's in there, right?
Shelby.
And they're talking about the end times coming. They're talking the Borg are coming. We're screwed. And Riker's like, we're playing cards later. You want to come?
Yeah.
I think that's not indicative of a true leader right there.
Although it is team building.
Not in that situation. You're getting ready to go to D-Day, and we're like, well, we could spend some time working on plans, or we can play cards as commanding officers. The privates and all that. Yes,
you're telling me people don't do that where they know there's imminent danger and they're like, oh, hey, you know, your cousin graduated. You take their mind off of something. You say something to like.
You don't think NFL players the day before a big game just kind of chill out a little bit the night before?
You know, what do you
But
think
the coach doesn't?
What do you think they were saying to Aiden Hutchinson when half his leg was laying at the 20 and the other half was at the 30? And they're like, oh, Aiden, did you see that Lower Decks, the last season of Lower Decks is out now.
Good. It's so good. Aiden.
You
got a lot
would
of time
love it. You really, I can see that you're going to have a lot of downtime. You should really watch it.
But I think there's a difference between Aiden and Dan Campbell, right? Like the coach. The coaches, the staff should always be focused on what is the next, what's coming ahead, right? That is the part of being a commanding officer. You don't see Jean-Luc Picard going to play cards. Now, part of that is because he hates people.
Yeah. If you focus too much on one thing, though, you're going to get tunnel vision. So sometimes you have to step away.
They haven't focused on it. They literally just found out. They just came over, and they're like,
Shelby's been focused on it for...
Okay, but Riker hasn't at this moment.
I think he's playing the strip poker. Like,
I know. He's like,
hey,
well,
listen.
She looks good.
I know what you got under the uniform. Cards at my place.
Yeah, you're not part of my crew, so let's get these clothes off.
I'm just saying, like, to me, it's not a good look for Riker in that moment in front of an admiral and the captain of a ship to be like, yeah, this really sucks, but I got a card game I gotta go to. So
it's on the schedule. I can't change the schedule.
It's on the schedule. It's important for me. I just don't,
it's in my teams. I can't change it.
I don't.
It's
think
marked
it's the best
priority.
look. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think it's the best look for him. Is all I'm saying.
Could have been an email.
Now, don't get me wrong. He's a good poker player. And this is a good opportunity for him to get to know Shelby as well. But he was assuming that she'd come in the first place. And
maybe he's playing like poker with her mind. Like,
well, and she kicks his butt too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she later gets Shelby later gets the Enterprise F. Actually, she becomes a commanding officer.
Can you? I mean, I haven't seen the second part of this. Can you not?
That's way.
This is way in the future.
I know, but what if? But you're telling me she doesn't die in the second part of this episode?
Oh, that's right.
That's a good point.
I didn't even think about that.
She could have died. She could have been resurrected by Borg technology. You don't know.
That's true.
7 of 9.
He doesn't know who 7 of 9 is.
He knows who 7 of 9 is.
I know who 7 of 9 is.
Okay.
I don't know anything about her, but I know who she is.
You know 6 of 10?
I know 6 of 9.
Half a dozen?
Who's a better character, 6 of 9 or 7 of 9?
6 of 9. What kind of question is that? It's ridiculous.
It's an absurd question.
You know, going into this episode, it had been a while since I watched it, and I had forgotten that it's more of a Riker episode than it is a Picard episode.
It's a heavy Riker episode, and it's a whole episode about incoming, like the dread is coming. Like the soundtrack is always
we haven't even talked about the music. Music was excellent.
It's kind of just this overarching,
it's
creeping up your back.
Yeah, they do a good job with that. Like that shot where like there's Picard, he's like, "Tell Starfleet we have engaged the Borg." Dun dun dun, and then you go to a commercial break.
I loved the juxtaposition of the end of this episode. So it's super intense, right?
Yeah.
And Picard comes out and he's a Borg and he's like, "We're gonna fucking kill you." And Riker was like, Riker was like, "Get fucked. We're gonna kill you first." And the music comes on. It's just like over intense, and then it just cuts off, and then it's like. It's the same music you heard after the last episode.
I just would love if they were you need to do the lines all. You need
Mystery
to redub the
Science Theater.
lines with that.
To be fair, there was a
We're
commercial.
gonna fucking kill you.
There was a commercial.
Get fucked. We're gonna kill you first.
I would pay big money for that. Oh my god!
We should email Nana for the show that we have to dub over that she's talking about on the cruise.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds.
Yes.
And be like, yeah, you got to make up your own lines for it. Like, fit the theme of it, but change up the wording, right? Oh man!
I think the last episode in the bar scene with Geordi and Worf would be hilarious to
my
to overdub.
Yes. Oh goodness. Okay, so a couple other things. Do you hate Shelby in this episode?
Hate? No.
I don't hate her, but she is a little too much.
I think she comes.
And she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, she's supposed to be. She's supposed to be gung ho, right?
But I think we talked about like why she did that. I think she was given like half the information.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and Admiral Hansen certainly talked to her and been like, "This is where we want you. This is
Yeah.
we want
This is
you
where
on
you're
the-
going because Riker's going to take the
Riker's
Melbourne.
going to take the Melbourne, and we want you here," which is interesting because it's like, doesn't the captain pick his first officer, and wouldn't he pick someone on the ship?
Well, I think that's what they're going to try to sell that to Picard. They're not saying this is yours, but that's why when Picard was talking to Admiral, he's like, "She can make a hell of a good first officer."
Yeah, Hansen's trying
Yeah.
to talk her into
and he's
it.
like, "I already have a good
Well, you
officer."
put her in a position where Picard can see her decision making,
Yeah.
see the results, and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I want this person."
I appreciate too, like the relationship that Picard and Riker have here. They did a good job with that.
Yes,
And he's like,
absolutely.
"Will, what the hell are you still doing here?"
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will,
Will.
what the hell are you still doing here?
He was like, "Bitch, what?"
She's a fine ship, Will.
I like how it immediately cut from that scene to him with Troy going, "What the hell am I still doing here?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great transition and a great
To
conversation
show
for him
that,
and Troy.
and also to show that Picard understands Riker and Riker understands Picard. Like they have a really good
Yeah.
working relationship, right?
What the hell am I doing here?
And like his whole point of like when Picard's like, reconsider your decision, he's not ordering him, but he's like, you got to think about this some more. And I like that. But like his whole thing, like you're ready to work without a net. Like that's a good point. Like, and that probably goes back to what you're saying is like, is he ready to work without a net? And I think about it from my perspective. When I went to this other church, man, if things fail, it's completely on me at that point.
Yeah.
Am I ready for that sort of responsibility? If the Melbourne falls apart and your crew dies in a fiery accident, it's on you.
But we've seen this before, where not every XO is a good captain.
Right.
Oh, many times
Ty.
we've seen that. Colonel Ty.
Yeah.
That's a
Colonel
great
Ty
example.
is not a great captain.
At first, but when he
What
was
are you talking
again,
about?
he was
I'm the
much
best
better.
He
captain.
was better, but
After he lost an eye.
Yeah.
Ty without an eye is a better commander.
so
To-
It's Klingon.
oh no, it
Ty
yeah,
without an that took
He
me a
just
second.
caught it.
That just oh Lord. Colonel Tagu. I like it.
But I mean, the first time he got. It's one of those slow release jumps.
Thank you.
Don't worry about it.
I'm good.
You sure?
I'm good. That was good though. I like that. We liked it.
I like that it took you forever to get it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it did. It took me a while.
That's what brought me joy.
It took me a while.
It's one of those. It's yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, he wasn't a great captain initially. He was
Picard. Oh,
Ty.
Ty. Yeah.
but he had. I thought he was a very good XO. Like he worked well with Adama.
Yeah.
He knew his role. He executed his role. He was very comfortable with that level of power.
So you brought up a great example though, because think about it. Ty, that whole time he was command of the Battlestar, he's like, we got to wait until the old man comes back. We got to wait. He would not make a decision.
Yeah.
Where Riker's like, let's go. Let's kill that Borg.
Yeah.
Like, so Riker
I
is,
got my shit.
and we've
I
seen
got-
Riker make difficult decisions in the past, like where he vaporized that girl that he was into, right? When she was about to assassinate the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he comes in and just like, so
Well, that
he's-
was more like
Yeah, watch it. But he's willing to make the hard decisions. We've seen that he can make the hard decisions that result in people getting killed. We know he can do that.
We know he's a murderer.
Where Ty cannot do that because Ty wants to wait until he hears from Adama. So I think he's ready.
But Riker, again, is making those decisions as the first officer.
Fire.
He's not in that moment because Picard's dead. Zed's dead, baby.
No. I'm talking about when they shot the in the past. He's made those
as a first
in his
officer.
position, which he's very comfortable in. Yeah. You're getting him out of his comfort zone, and now he's got to reassimilate as the next level up.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, do you think? Another question is: do you think Riker would have handled the end of this episode differently if it had happened before Shelby had come on?
See, I was kind of wondering that if his decision to fire is like spurred by the fact of
you don't think I can fucking do it?
I don't make my decisions quick enough. Here we go.
Yeah,
because she called him safe too, right?
She did.
She's like, get out of the way. You're in my way. She's not wrong, right?
No.
Like everyone wants the Enterprise. People want.
And sometimes you need a little kick in the butt to get you focused.
Yeah.
Well, I think early episode Riker he would have a more difficult time making that decision than end of the episode Riker.
You're probably right, because like when he was sitting down talking with Troy and she's like, what's happened? I've lost my fire. She's like, no, you're seasoned. Like you've grown up.
Yeah.
Like it's not effective to go in guns blazing all the time. Sometimes you need to take a step back and think about the consequences.
He's an elder punk.
Yeah. Yeah. He
like
grew up.
punk is for the youth.
He's like Billy Joel at this point. Or who's another old punk rocker?
All of them, like the guys from NoFX. Like NoFX just went on their last tour ever. Yeah. Like they just ended their careers. Punk is for youth.
Yeah, Blink 182 going on.
As you get older, you mature and life happens. And
well, it's like
you have perspective on things.
Well, it's like even rock music. Like Sully Erna from Godsmack was saying, their music's calmed down because I grew up. I calmed down. I'm not as angry about things as I used to be.
Yeah. And when they put out music that seems angry, it feels fake. Not Godsmack.
Not all the time.
I'm just saying like rock bands in general. And I think that's the reason why Metallica has kind of lost a little bit of its luster. It's like, can you really be so angry when you're all millionaires and you're like, living it really well?
Did you ever hear the old adage, more money, more problems?
More problems, yeah.
Oh, no Diddy. No Diddy on this podcast.
Like this is the same thing with rappers, right? Like there's a reason why when Dr. Dre raps about living on the streets, you're kind of like, really, Dr. Dre? Really?
Well, it's like even like locally,
or Eminem.
Mike Valeni's always talking about how he's a New Yorker, but he's been here for 20 whatever years. Mike Valeni?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker. I'm like, dude.
At heart he is.
But you always are a New Yorker.
I get that, but you've also been here for longer than you lived there by far.
I don't know, but the way I think your upbringing factors into the decision. It's different if he moved from New York when he was 5 years old, but he was there until
college. He went to Michigan State.
Yeah, exactly. And then he became a Michigander. So like his formative years of his life were there, right? So that kind of forms you. How does this fit in the Riker?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I think we lost. We
lost the thread.
Growing up, you grew up.
Yeah, growing up.
Yeah.
Oh, because you said like he had like a more vigor when he was younger.
Yeah.
And I said punk is for the youth. That's what it is. Like when you're younger, you have something to prove.
Well, and that's the thing. Like Shelby's way of doing things is not going to work as the first officer because Picard would bitch slap her. Like,
and how old is Shelby? How old is Shelby? Do we know her age?
She's probably about the same age as Riker.
I would say she's Riker's age-ish when he came on season 1 or 2.
Yeah, I would say she's probably a handful of years younger than Riker, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's a reflection kind of on the old Riker. But it kind of goes into like when I was at the video store working there, and it was, for those of you who don't know, video stores used to be insanely popular. When I was younger, give me the next bigger project. Give me the next bigger project. Give me the next bigger project. But your quality of life changes. But back then, it didn't matter as much, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I'm offered something, I really have to think about it and go, how's this going to affect balance?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Versus, if I went to a $200,000 per year store to a $1.2 million per year store, that changes. But back then, I'm like, just give it to me. Mm-hmm. Now I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an awesome shot of her, like a gag reel shot of her right there. Elizabeth Dennehy is her actual name.
She's like Dolly
Brian Dennehy's daughter.
Looks like Is it?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like something I would say on the podcast as a joke.
No, that's legit.
I know. But you mentioned Whitmer, Whitmer earlier, and
Sam Whitmer.
yeah, I said Gretchen's dad.
Oh, I didn't catch that. It's Gretchen's son. He's a youngie.
Is he?
Younger.
And she's probably about the same age as her, if I'm thinking about it.
He's probably in his 40s.
Yeah.
Well, wait, he was in, I don't know. Let's see how old he is.
Ooh, are we doing a callback in the same episode?
Yeah.
Look at us.
47 years old.
Oh, so they're probably around the same age. Twins.
Gretchen Whitmer.
Get it, Whitmer.
How old is Gretchen Whitmer?
They spell their names differently, by the way.
No,
He's
that's-
W-I-T.
That's only for fame. That's
exactly.
only for Hollywood.
That's so he can
53
disassociate
years.
with politics because he doesn't want to be involved in it right now.
53 years. Gretchen Whitmer is a smoke show, too. I mean, shoot, man. 10 out of 10.
I 100% agree.
Would become a Democrat for her. I already am. All right. So a couple other things in this episode. So we got...
We haven't really talked Borg,
we haven't talked... Yes, that's very true. So we should probably...
which is,
I was going to say...
I mean,
I want to talk about how Picard goes to Guinan and is only referencing like the Visigoths and the Roman Empire. It's like she would not have any clue what you're talking about, bro.
She lived on Earth for a
Oh,
while.
yeah, I guess she did, right? And we see that in
And she's
Picard.
been like alive for what, 300 years?
yeah, you
Longer
got that
than
Earth
I think
history.
she's like 1,000 years.
She's 1,000? That's what I'm saying. She's black. There's no way she looks 1,000.
Let's figure out
Those
what...
Elorians. Woo!
This is a callback from earlier, too. There's no way she looks 1,000.
It just says she's 500 years old.
She doesn't look a day over in 250.
Yeah. She was 500
Good.
years old.
Although current Whoopi.
All right, current Whoopi looks 500.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's aged a little bit. That's fine. That's fine. Good for her.
She's also 70 or whatever it is now.
Yeah. So
But do you see what I'm saying? She's 500. She does
Yeah.
not look 500.
I do appreciate though, like Picard is touring the ship. He's basically saying we're gonna die. Like we're going to die. We're going to buy them time.
Yes.
So the question is that a command that Riker would be willing to give? Which we've seen him do that actually when he's been in charge of the ship. He's like initiate self-destruct or whatever. And but is it a bad okay, here's my question. Now Jean-Luc is in command. Is it a bad position to take going into a battle knowing you're going to lose, or is there something to be said for that, like we are going in here and we're going to lose, but the reason we're losing is to buy time for the rest of
The
them
needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
or should you be always have that bravado like Captain Kirk? I don't believe in a no-win scenario. Kobayashi Maru style.
I
Like,
think
is
you
there
have to
something
kind of be
said?
realistic with your situation too. Like, all right, I need to get this out of my system. We're going to do the best we can, but in reality, if you're looking at your situation in that scenario,
We are outnumbered. We are outgunned.
you don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
Kirk never had to face the Borg.
That's true.
That's true.
I mean, in all reality, it was usually him and maybe a couple ships, or him and a couple people. It wasn't exactly a Borg type situation where you're looking at this thing going, "There's nothing we can do to hurt this ship."
Yeah.
The Borg are scary.
And the
Yeah.
Borg are coming in saying, "Do you really want to hurt me?"
And Picard
That's what
or
they're
Kirk's
singing.
like,
They're
"I'm gonna
singing
go
it.
impregnate all the droids over there. Let's go."
How many droids can I assimilate?
I'll
would say that, Kirk?
I'm gonna assimilate those asses. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, so is Riker.
I think Kirk.
No, he's in charge now. He can't. He's
Yeah.
got to
He's
reel
got
that
to
back.
keep it in his pants now. I don't know. Like I kind of wonder if. I mean, maybe it's just that Guinan can see it, and anyone, as long as no one else in the crew sees that, he's like, "We're losing. We're losing."
Well, I think he confides more in Guinan than he does anybody else.
Right.
That's his buddy.
Because they've been friends for years. They haven't really done a good job truly.
That's part. I think that's
explaining
part of the
that.
appeal of it, though, is that they don't need to right now.
Right. That they've been friends for a really long time beyond that.
Yeah.
And they were friends on Earth at one point in time, right? And that's why
I don't
he brings her onto the Enterprise or something. I don't know.
I don't remember. They haven't really gone into it too much, other
They
than
haven't.
he helped her out when she was not in a good position.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's a necessary quality in a captain to be able to say like,
This is a no-win
fucked.
scenario.
yeah, we're
I
fucked here.
do.
I do.
I do think that's enough.
Because with
I'm just asking the question. No.
because the two captains that we've really
Cisco.
that we reviewed prior to this
Yeah.
have had that.
Yeah, Cisco, and Adam, they've both been willing to be like, let's go in guns blazing. We're not coming out. Like the finale of Battlestar Galactica, he had no intention of them actually coming out.
No.
He's just said, look, I'd rather die trying to save her than let her go. And they got lucky. Gosh, I love that final battle. That's a good
I think there's a certain amount of, if you're a tactician, you've got to realize that, strategically, that's a loose scenario.
What are some examples of Cisco saying, "Okay, there's no coming out"? I mean, he did that a lot.
Well, there's like those battles where they're like, "We're gonna fight through, and what happens."
Yeah.
Our goal is to get past this blockade.
Oh yeah, when they were in the Beta quadrant, not Beta, Delta. No,
gosh, dang. Alpha.
Omega.
They are in the Alpha.
That's
quadrant.
right. Gamma.
Gamma. There it is. The G spot.
It's like I think like
It's a myth. Out of here.
That quadrant does not exist.
Can never find it. It's weird.
No, that spot does not exist.
Up and around the back.
Yeah, so you have to get through the hole to get to the G spot, but I just could never
Get it
find the
up and
hole.
up and around the back. It's like
you gotta do this little hook thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a very sheltered question. Why is it called the G spot?
Oh, God.
It's a third callback in a row. Google it. Google your exact question.
I'm not going to Google it.
Okay, I'll Google it for
You've Googled worse things.
Okay.
You boys have fun.
All right, here we
Talk
go.
amongst yourself.
Oh, it's named after Ernst Grafenberg, a German doctor who conducted research on sexual and reproductive anatomy in the 50s.
Oh, man.
Of course he's German.
Yeah. Germans are freaks.
I can vouch for that.
So
That's
in the irony of all ironies, a man is the one who discovered the G-spot.
That's like Columbus discovering America. It was always there, and people were finding it many times before him. But he's the one who put his flag in it.
Could you imagine,
which, ironically, was not a good idea.
Could you imagine, like, the volunteer line outside of his office?
I found it. I found the G-spot.
It's medical research, I swear. So back to Star Trek.
You think Riker finds the G-spot? I think he does because his people come back.
Data does.
I think Data absolutely does.
Yeah, he's fully programmed.
Man, things vibrates.
Yeah.
The Gamma Quadrant. That's what I'm going to start calling it instead of the G-spot, the Gamma Quadrant.
I want to visit your Gamma Quadrant
tonight. But I'm going to get that wormhole and hit the Gamma Quadrant.
All right, so...
Was his name Gerstenberg?
Can somebody else remind me to put this
Edward
online?
Edward Grufenberg.
Sounds like the villain from Phineas and Ferb.
Doofenshmirtz.
The D spot.
All right, let's go into the endings of this. Okay, we got Picard captured. All right, and to put you in the situation of this, he does not have a contract for the fourth season, and they're fighting to get this contract. So the final shot is him actually as a Borg, and then Riker is declaring fire. Now, you said in hindsight you didn't realize how much of an episode this was for Riker.
Yes,
right?
I thought it was kind of because you think about the Picard aspect, or specifically the Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Is he leaving the show? Is he not leaving the show? So when I reflect back on this episode, when I didn't watch it, I'm like, Picard. But going into watching it, I forgot this was a Riker episode.
Well,
really.
And in a lot of ways, like they are setting up Hansen to be the XO because of that back and forth. Because if you watch the first seasons of Enterprise, there is a lot of that where there's Riker's bravado and Picard has to put him in his place. Like they've really done a good job of turning Riker into Picard in a lot of sense.
Of Picard mentoring him.
Yeah.
Character growth without having to spell it out.
So they've set it up in a way where you could see this continuing without.
And they've already set a precedent. Like they've replaced a doctor.
They've replaced a doctor. They've
killed off
officer.
What's her nut?
Tasha.
Yep. They have really promoted O'Brien to a
same thing with Geordi.
B- level character now when he was really background for the first two seasons.
Geordi was not he was not the head of engineering at first, and now he is. So
there is at least a little precedent of them being willing to mix up the cast a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you could in 1990?
90, I think, yeah.
So I don't think in 1990 everybody knew when this aired that they're fighting for a contract.
Well, it was in the trades, and it was in like if you did Star Trek whatever the magazine was, or
Okay.
Starlog or Wizard or whatever it was out there, and people knew.
Oh,
that-
okay.
People knew because that was like you went into it and you're like, what the hell happens? And then
Then you're like,
and then a month later you're reading like, oh, they don't know if he's even coming back, and you're like, what the hell? So now it's just you have this 3 months of what is going to happen because
Yeah. So-
at first it's just the cliffhanger, right? You just
Right.
get it. Oh dang! Oh snap.
shit.
Oh snap! And then
it's
you're watching
Gray Picard.
and then you're watching Entertainment Tonight at 7:30, and you're like, wait, they don't have Patrick Stewart under contract? What the hell? And so now it becomes this feeding fodder until you
Yeah.
figure out what's going on. It was really a perfect scenario for Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah.
It was a well-crafted story. There was drama behind the scenes that eventually got out where
It's a good story. Like,
where it kind of fed the mystery of what happened. And you had this 3 months just to sit there and go, the fuck.
Yeah.
so is this the off season, for lack of a better term, that really catapult? Like,
This is what launched the
we all
Next
talk about
Generation.
season 3 being the spot where it turns around. 1 and 2 are
Let me go to the ratings.
they're rough.
I'll let
1
you
and
know.
2 are rough. Season 3 turns it around. There's
Season
really
3
good. There's really good Trek in this.
Season 3
episode-
got
in
the
this.
attention of people.
And then the best of both worlds 1, the off season, and then coming back and doing part 2. Is that what really shot it to the next stratosphere?
I honestly think so. I don't remember the time very well, but I think that's where, because everybody talks about this cliffhanger. Everybody talks
So
about
I
it.
can give you examples of that. The Nielsen ratings, season 1, they had a 15.7 for the opening, a 12.1 and a 12.7. Okay. They never were over 12 since then. We're always below
Per
12
episode?
on the Nielsen ratings. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Seasons 1 and 2.
Best of Both Worlds was a 10.1. Okay. But when they came back, it was a 12.3. And then it consistently was above 12 after that. Consistently.
It served as a gateway drug.
Okay.
Honestly, actually, if I'm looking at it, it's really season 5 that it was consistently at 12, 13s.
Well, the cool thing about this is that
And then
it's
season
also
6.
hitting repeats because you're catching it at later at night too.
Yeah.
Gosh, they did, like, thinking about this, looking at some of these ratings, they shouldn't have stopped at season 7 in hindsight, like, because their ratings were still.
Oh
like,
yeah, they were killing
like
it.
this is a show that trended up, kind of like Parks and Rec did, where it started low. Same thing with The Office, where it started low and then trended up. But the
Seinfeld.
Office went up and then dropped. Seinfeld was at the height.
They were the number one show when they
Cheers was
left.
still at the height. MASH was still high. Like, but again, you need to end a story when you need, like.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
So,
this was a big moment for
Do
them.
you think the show could work? How many seasons do you think it goes if they never get the contract done?
Mm-hmm.
And
with-
and Riker takes over with Shelby.
I think a lot of the appeal was Picard.
I don't know. I still. Oh yeah. I don't know.
A lot of the appeal was Picard because if you got episodes upcoming, and just his character, his stoicism, his what Starfleet should be is like him. I think it lasts 7 seasons, but it's a total different show. Yeah. Not total different. You know what I mean? Like
I think it's shortened by a season, maybe
think so?
maybe 2.
I still think.
Picard. For me, I mean, and I guess I'll see more in the next few seasons. But for me, so season 3 really put Picard in the driver's seat of this series. Like before, it was like we're setting up the ensemble and like there's more characters, and Picard he hadn't become what I know him to be yet.
You didn't like him in the first season
Yeah.
or 2, yeah.
And season 3 is really like, okay, this is Picard's show.
This did legit.
Yeah.
yeah.
And not in the way that, and I haven't seen it, but I listened to the way that you guys speak about Burnham, where it's just centered around Burnham and everybody else is kind of story fodder.
Yeah.
This is different in a way where it seems like it's definitely Picard's ship, but everybody has a more elevated role.
Yeah.
It's more of the ensemble.
And I don't know that removing Patrick Stewart from that equation would service this very well for another 4 seasons.
It would have been interesting because, I mean, obviously the storytellers obviously take it over. The
Yeah.
writers and everything. So it would have been hell of interesting to talk to Michael Piller and say, what would you have done? Hey, if we could ever get Ira Burr on the show, I know you were transitioning to DS9 not long from then, but what would you guys have done if it was Riker?
Yeah.
But
Wouldn't have been like, that's an interesting question.
here, I gotta really okay. Do you think the writers are?
D more. Let's get
Do you think the writers are good enough to write compelling enough stories to keep the viewers there without Picard? Because you're right.
That's tough.
It is ultimately you have to write good stories. You have to tell good stories. But if you have fed a audience, this leader for 3 years, and he's gone,
it's a hell of a transition.
I mean, what happened when Michael Scott left The Office?
You're right.
I think there's a lot of people.
It declines.
I think there were a lot of people, millions and millions and millions of people that stopped watching The Office after he left.
Yeah, and they brought in Nellie, but it wasn't even about the characters they brought in. It's like they're like, well, we can sustain it off of Dwight and Jim. No, you can't. They're not leads. Like,
I would say they were equally as important, if not more important, on the ensemble to The Office than Riker is to start the.
I think you take Riker out, you could plug and play there. Like if Picard was still there, and you had to put a different first officer in there. I think that's much easier to do than to have Riker take over the show for Picard.
I agree.
To your points, I think Picard is incredibly important to this show.
And I think this was the season where it was realized. Like, I realize now just how important Picard is to this show and really to the crew.
And Picard is important, honestly, to the whole franchise. Like, if you ask, it really is, because he's that ideal Federation officer. Mm-hmm. And to me, he's what kind of, in my perfect world, what Star Trek is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do I love Sisko? Yes. Do I love Kirk? Absolutely. Do I love Pike? Absolutely. What they're doing with Strange New Worlds.
Oh, man.
But Janeway's fine too.
It's fun. Janeway's fine too.
Cerrito's Captain's a blast.
It's a broad, but she's fine.
That being said, if you take Sisko out of it, I think you could have did something with Kira.
Absolutely.
Easier than you can do Picard to Riker, or Riker to Picard.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I going with? I was going somewhere with shit. It's gone.
And it's gone.
It's gone. But
how important?
Well, I just think Picard's ideally what we want out of Star. Like, is what Star Trek should be, for lack of a better term.
Okay, I see what you mean.
And now I've convinced myself that it wouldn't have worked as well at all.
For kicks, I was trying to look up shows where they replaced the lead character. The problem I'm running into is
Roseanne
recast instead of replaced, right?
Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about they completely shift. And Roseanne would be a good example because they killed Roseanne and then it went to the Connors and it's still on the air. It's not nearly as successful, but it's still running. There's still a story there, but
amazingly, it's still. It's the Connors is.
I didn't know it was still on.
It's still on there, yeah. Well, because Roseanne it's network TV and you can get away with it.
I think the original Roseanne had 9 seasons, and I think the Connors are on season 6 or 7.
Really,
it's crazy.
It's not the same in terms of popularity. But I was trying to think of some other shows. I mean, you got House of Cards where they killed off Frank Underwood at the end of it, and then she's the president at the end. I mean, I guess you could argue New Girl. They replaced the coach role after the pilot.
And Winston was pretty cool.
And then they bring back Coach later on.
And Coach is awesome.
Gosh, I love New Girl. Well, the guys alone make the show for real.
Doctor Who.
James Bond.
MASH. You could argue MASH. Like they're constantly replacing lead characters, and that fits really well for the idea of MASH because you're a medical unit in the Army. But there's not many shows that have the tendency of being able to succeed after they've shifted focus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me look up shifted.
Remember the time that Mirror Children brought in the blonde kid and then he just disappeared?
Yeah.
He was there and then no mention of him ever again. He's living with us, is he?
There's a lot of stuff like that. I'm going back to Kramer had a dog in the first episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You just never again had it.
Family Ties was actually supposed to be focused on Elise and Steven Keaton, hippies from the 60s who were in their early 30s trying to raise children. I never would have pictured them as early 30s, but I guess they were.
Early 30s. That's, again, they're white.
Yeah.
He looks 48 at
he does.
least.
She looks good for her age. Elise Keaton. She looks good. She
Yeah.
looks in her 30s. Newhart was another one. 3 characters were written out.
It was awesome.
Let's see what else we got. They have Gunsmoke in there. West Wing is actually a good example. The later focus of the show. Well, the first initial focus was supposed to be on where the co-star became more popular than anyone else.
2.5 Men.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Ashton Kutcher came on, right?
But
Yeah.
2.5 Men was already on its way down, right?
No, I think it was still really
popping.
hot. It was very. What if it wasn't, just cancel the show.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was still popping.
It was popping.
But yeah, West Wing did that because Sam Seaborn was supposed to be the lead, Rob Lowe. But then Martin Sheen became super popular. People loved his president character, and he became more of a major focus.
Oh, there was another Spin City.
Oh, yeah.
Spin City is a great example. Yeah.
Because
Michael J. Fox.
he couldn't.
Got
He
the shakes.
couldn't. Yeah,
He
he couldn't
couldn't
do it
continue.
anymore.
Yeah.
And so they brought in Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Oh, the irony.
I know.
Didn't Dallas was one, right? Where they shifted the focus. It was originally supposed to be about Pam and Bobby, and then it shifted away from them. I wasn't a big
Well, like
Dallas guy.
even
so-
Family Matters wasn't supposed to be about Urkel.
No,
but it became
No.
about
And that's one of
Urkel.
the
Yeah, Family Matters
That's
is a
one
big
of the
one.
examples it has. Dark Shadows is one of the examples. So again,
Not quite the same, but
Well,
Ben
introducing
Linus in Lost.
introducing 709 and Voyager.
killing off a character and switching focus. Yeah,
Yep.
that's actually a very good point. Yeah. X-Files did that as well. Fox Mulder left the show. They tried to continue on without him. Scrubs did a new season.
Pass.
It was
Yeah.
terrible.
But Ben Linus in Lost was a character that was supposed to be like for 2 or 3 episodes, I think.
Yeah.
And he was immediately super popular.
Well, Garrick.
And they wrote him. But I mean, Garrick at least was a character that was going to be
Around.
around. Linus was not.
Yeah, you're right.
He was. They had to rewrite his whole character to be, because he was at the. He became very integral.
Lost was so good.
Such a good show.
So again, all this is to say Star Trek would have had their hands full trying to do, because
Yeah.
there's not many shows that succeed after replacing their lead. And this isn't even recently. This dates back to the 80s and the era we're in. So now my question is, would it actually have helped their viewership? Because again, it was successful to this point, but it wasn't booming. So these people, there's a lot of people who maybe tuned in this episode who weren't as familiar with Captain Picard. So to see him killed off and have Riker take command, maybe that is like, oh my gosh, this show isn't playing it safe. I want to tune in more.
Could be something different.
Yeah. I mean, is it possible? Again, like what you
it's
said.
possible.
Would it have lasted 7 seasons? I think it would have. It would have been a very different looking show. And I think actually, if you kill off Captain Picard, I think that opens up the door to kill off other characters as well. Yes, we killed off Tasha Yar. That was first season.
Yeah.
She was
And
not in there that much.
Had they
Yeah.
have killed off Picard this way too, what a way to go out.
Yeah.
You know what though? The only bummer is it wasn't really a Picard episode, and neither was the episode before. So like we haven't had a lot of focus. And then the episode
if they
before wasn't. The
if they
last
kill him
Picard
as a
focus
Borg,
episode was Sarek.
Do you think that's on purpose though?
Yeah, because we're moving on from
Because
Picard.
if okay, we don't know if this contract is going our way. These last 2 episodes can't be about this character because we have to kind of wean them off him.
Right, the last
But
one
even though
was-
this wasn't about the character, I mean,
I know.
Picard being a Borg is a big fucking deal.
It's a kick in the dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer that this is early Borg design though, because it's kind of a hokey Borg outfit he's got on.
For the 90s though?
I know,
For the
but
90s
when
though?
you
Come
think
on.
about what the
Come
Borg,
on.
It's a onesie.
I'm talking about what the Borg evolved to by the end of Next Generation. Like their uniform, their costumes got significantly better.
It was still a trip back then.
It was
though.
still a trip. It was still a trip.
Do you think they just sleep in the black onesie and they're like, oh, it's Thursday, I gotta go in,
Kinda
and they just
Borg
say
out.
put
gotta
on
go
their
to
Borg arm and their shit, put all their shit on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like Picard never.
Oh, my
he never
screen-
has to wear makeup at night.
Oh, one more day till PTO. All right, I got it.
All right. Should we go to rating these episodes? We're approaching 2 hours, gentlemen.
Yeah.
5.5.
Transfigurations.
5.5.
5.5. Okay.
I was going 4.5.
I was probably gonna go a 4.
We're in ballpark.
4. Okay. Best of Both Worlds, Pot 1.
9.0.
9.0.
9.5.
So I would say I was a 9. It's solid. It's a really good episode. It's no Yesterday's Enterprise though, which Joe gave an 8.5. But Joe did give The Bonding a 10.
Because it said Bond.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the one about the kid, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The kid.
Yep.
Why did I give that a 10? I forget.
I think it just hit you about.
It's just one of those episodes that kind of grabbed you.
In the feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it grabbed you in the feels. That's why. All right, so we have officially ended season 3.
Oh boy.
Here's our ratings overall. Rob, lowest at 6.4 overall.
Rob hates Star Trek.
Joe, the highest at 6.5. Nick at 6.46. To put it in perspective, last season, the highest rating was a 5.02, which was Joe. And
Joe loves Star Trek.
And season 1, the highest rating was 4.72, which was me. So
let's go north.
it's clearly trended up. I'll be curious to see how that continues.
6.5 for the whole season. I think
that-
it's solid.
To put
Yeah.
that into perspective, we never had a season below a 6 for Battlestar Galactica. We never had a season
Unfair.
below a 6 for Deep Space Nine.
Unfair.
So
Those are both superior shows.
just to put this in the perspective.
So far.
Yes. To put
So
the-
far.
You're very true so far. Now, I think season 5 is the real season I loved on Next Generation. I might be wrong though.
I got a whole other season to go.
We got 4, 5, 6, and 7. We got a lot
Oh,
of
my
Next
God.
Generation. Like a lot.
26 episodes a year.
Oh my gosh, it's so many episodes.
It's such a trek.
This truly is a 5-year journey.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm going to kill myself.
we got one more year before it comes a 5-year journey.
I'm going to unalive myself.
Gonna unalive. I'm opting out.
Yeah. I don't know if my contract is renewing for season 4.
So, ladies and
I'll let you
gentlemen,
guys know.
next week
Ooh, what a cliffhanger.
we're going to leave you waiting on a cliffhanger next week. We're not giving you Star Trek next week.
Oh, we're not doing it.
What? Really?
Yeah, we're not giving them Star Trek next week.
Hell yeah.
We're going to give them Penguin next
Oh,
week. We're going to give you a little bit of the Penguin, a little bit of Colin Farrell next week. We're going to review the entirety of the Penguin. But we want to take a week off to just,
Make you wait
To
for
give thanks.
To give thanks. To give thanks for Jesus. Oh, I mean, Jean-Luc Picard.
No, it's
for a
thanks.
Lions
Space
victory.
Jesus.
For a Lions victory.
Go Lions!
I didn't realize on their schedule, right? So they have a quick turnaround next week.
You're pretty good with
2
that, guys.
Thursday
For the
back in a row?
Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Back to back,
and then
yeah.
they get a week off. So it's kind of works out. And then they get 10 days off after that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome for them. So it's kind of like a shortened bye week.
Well, I think getting the bye week in week 5 or 6, whatever it was.
That's Bogue.
Week 5 bye week in a 17 or 18 week season is
Sucks.
brutal.
I don't think they should have a bye before like week 8.
I don't
That's
think
for scheduling purposes.
scheduling. I don't think that can work.
No, it
but-
doesn't work. Yeah, you have to do it.
Oh, did we have any? I texted the group. Do we have any listener feedback for this week?
We did have a listener feedback. Should we save it for next week though? Because
yeah, we're already almost
hour
2
and
hours.
50
Yeah.
we're gonna
minutes.
save the listener feedback for next week. We're running long.
And do we
today.
really care? Is the question.
We don't care about
I
our
care.
listeners. We don't care
Well,
about
you
them.
know what? You guys are better than me, so I don't care.
Tune in next week. We're going to share some listener feedback. And
Maybe.
we're going to review the Penguin, and we are going to all cry over the fact we still have 4 more seasons of Star Trek, even though we're enjoying it. It's still 4 seasons.
Should we
of the
wish
show.
everybody a happy Thanksgiving?
Happy Thanksgiving.
happy
Hanukkah doesn't start until Christmas.
That's true.
happy Kwanzaa?
I-
Happy joy,
It's
joy.
literally
happy,
just
joy, joy.
Thanksgiving.
All right, bye all. Thanks for keeping up with us. We love you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.